Well, hello and welcome to this video. This is going to be a relaxed, chill pack opening for Magic the Gathering cards. I have a March of the Machines expansion set draft booster here that I just purchased for $5 and some change. And it's intended to be kind of a chill hangout without actually being like ASMR per se, but just kind of a low key way for enjoyers of the game of Magic the Gathering or players to um, get a pack cracked, and here it's gonna be a slower go through of the pack. We will start by naming the card name and then the casting cost, and then if it's a creature, the creature type, and then the spell type, and then what the card does, and then the flavor text, a short description of the art, the artist's name, the where it falls in the set. So, for example, 47 out of whatever 251, and then talk about strategy, what sort of decks you would use it in, and then finally just any other commentary like associations with other cards in previous sets, whether the card was reprinted. Any miscellaneous information about the cards. So, without further ado, okay, we have Ral's Reinforcements. It costs a red and a colorless for a sorcery, and it creates two 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. The flavor text reads, "Good thing maintenance never got around to decatalyzing the bithermic plasma displacement conduits." Okay, and we have here a guy, and it looks like he's just struck a pipe, like a gas pipe, and there's two little dudes, little spirit-like dudes, or elemental in this case type dudes, coming out of the pipe. They look kind of ghostly, and I want to say the person depicted in the cards is a planeswalker, but I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Ral. And the artwork was by Nils Ham, and it's a card. It's a common, and it's number 0158. So this is a card that would be used in an Izzet deck. Izzet is, well, red and blue. Go Jayhawks. It's basically an Izzet. I'm gonna forget the name of the card, but it was a card from Mirrodin, which was a set released like 2003, 2004. Except I think this isn't as good because this is sorcery speed and that was instant. But that card, I still can't remember what it's called. But that card was a white and another to create two 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. But I believe that was instant. So here we have Ral's Reinforcements. A sorcery, create two 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens, and assumedly there's stuff to do tribally with elementals in this set, as there is with other sets. I can't think of any right now. But I'm going to reread the flavor text. It's a good flavor text. Good thing maintenance never got around to decatalyzing the bithermic plasma displacement conduits. So, classic, is it science nerd sort of stuff. All right. Card number 2. Protocol Knight. A creature, a human knight creature for a blue and 3 others. When Protocol Knight enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. Put a stun counter on that creature if you control another knight. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Flavor text reads, Ingress without proper writ of extraplanar intent? Unacceptable. The artwork is a knight in armor with like bucklers on her shoulders with a sword that has like runes around it, little like ethereal runes, and the horse is also wearing that sort of armor with like the blue bulbous sapphires on it. And the artwork was by Vulcan Baga. This is a common. It is card number 0074. Oh, by the way, power and toughness 3/4. So pretty good card. Of course, if you're drafting knights in limited, it's really good. They've come up with this stun counter thing, whereas a card printed years and years ago probably would have just said that card does not untap during its next untap phase. But here we have the stun counter mechanic where if there's a stun counter, you do not untap the card, you remove the stun counter, and then the next time it would untap, it untaps. Okay. There's a difference between stun counters and the way they used to print it. This card does not untap during its next untap phase, because if you had an effect like a twiddle that would untap the card, if it had a stun counter on it, the stun counter would just be removed. It wouldn't untap. But the old printing of this card does not untap during its next untap phase. If you would twiddle it, it would untap anyways, and you could use it defensively. So, yeah, another very dorky flavor text. Ingress without proper writ of extraplanar intent? Unacceptable. So far we've got two very dorky sounding flavor texts. And maybe that's just because it's a fantasy trading card game. Protocol Knight. Atraxa's Fall. A sorcery for a green and a colorless. Destroy target artifact, battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. Wow. And the flavor text reads, Fallen angels should stay fallen. Henzi Toolbox Tour. It's a common, and its number next to it is 0176. The artwork depicts a big multi-armed dude with like a big old plank, and he's chilling with 2 other dudes. They don't look intimidated particularly. So I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like this. And it's a sorcery. So it's introduced something to me that I don't know what it is mechanically. It says it can destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying, or battle. And I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up. If you want to, leave a comment in the descriptions, flexing your knowledge on what a battle is in Magic the Gathering. I would say it's just like two creatures in combat, but that wouldn't make sense because this card is a sorcery. So, pretty good, versatile card. I can't speak to the overall value of the card, not knowing what a battle is. But it could potentially be a very good card. This card was probably picked up a fair amount in limited because you usually face, or you often face, decks where the creatures have flying, and just being able to get rid of an enchantment or an artifact is generally a pretty good thing. Atraxa's Fall. Etched Host Doombringer. Here we have a creature, a Phyrexian demon creature, a 3/5 for a black and 4 colorless. And when Etched Host Doombringer enters the battlefield, choose 1. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Or again, here's battle. So I don't know what this is, but choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove 3 defense counters from it. Otherwise, put 3 defense counters on it. So I'm really hoping I pulled a battle in here, because that'll help give context to what that is. And if this card is good or not, I guess by itself, the artwork depicts a dude. It's kind of like a skeletal demon buff type dude, like we saw in Atraxa's Fall, the last card. He's got a spiked tail with 5 blades on it, and he carries a sword that sort of has spikes coming out of one side. He's got a lot of red coming off of him. He's got one hell of a girdle on, and he looks like he's in kind of one of the pretty scary circles of Phyrexia there. So target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Pretty good, especially if you have a way to blink this, bring it out of the game and bring it back into the game, or bounce it defensively and then bring it back. Get that extra 4-point life swing later in the game. But again, I don't know how good this is without knowing what battles are. Volcanic Spite. Volcanic Spite is a 2-mana instant, a red and a colorless. It deals 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Wow. You may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library if you do draw a card. Wow. So without even knowing what a battle is, I'd say this card is pretty good. Especially considering the second clause, you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library if you do draw a card, what you might call Vendilion clicking a card. Seems pretty good. The artwork depicts, looks like a spaceship being struck by a fiery expulsion of lava. But I think there's something in the action here where It's a little, it's a little interesting artistically. I don't know. It seems like there would be more lava like around it, and that it'd be weird if just this lava shot out just this one little stream of volcanic spite. But see if you see what I mean. You see how it's just weird that volcano is erupting and yet just one little stream of it is hitting the spaceship. But and that's Kevin Siddhartha painted that or made that artwork. The flavor text reads, "None may approach the ashen idol without an offering. An edict fortuitously absent from Phyrexian intelligence concerning the world of Asgol." Alright, and that's a common. It's card number 0170. Volcanic Spite. Aerial Boost. It's a 2-mana instant, a white and a colorless. And it has Convoke, which I remember was a set introduced in the first Ravnica set. That would have been back in either 2006 or 2007. Which Convoke is your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting this spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's color. And target creature gets +2/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. Ha! You missed, is the flavor text. Artwork depicts a dude on a glider, and there looks to be some sort of... It looks to be like he's on something that came out of Kaladesh, but I don't know what it's called. Some sort of water tower looking thing. And the glider is emitting jet propulsion that is blue in color and has some wisps coming around it. So, pretty good combat trick. What's it called? Aerial Boost. So, yeah. Could really surprise someone attacking you with a flyer that way. Furnace Host Charger. It's a creature for a red and 5 other. And the creature type is Phyrexian Giant. It's a 5/5. Haste. Mountain Cycling 2. So you can pay 2 colorless and discard this card from your hand. Search your library for a mountain card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. Furnace Host Charger is pretty good. Especially if you're drafting a deck that has like 3 colors in it and you need to find a way to get to your mountains. It has haste, and the flavor text reads, "With barely a moment's warning, a 1 giant avalanche crashed into Kaldheim's defenders." Okay. Common, card number 0140. Artwork by Daniel Romanovsky. The artwork depicts... it's a pretty cool, kind of like action shot here. Where we have this metallic dude, because he's Phyrexian, right? And he's huge. And he's kind of just charging something, and there's little dudes dwarfed by this Phyrexian giant down there. Knight of the New Coalition. Alright. Knight of the New Coalition, for a white and 3 others, we get you a creature, a human knight with vigilance. And when Knight of the New Coalition enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white and blue Knight creature token with Vigilance. Right on. So this would be good to have in play when you play your Protocol Knight. Got our little common combo here. And both these 2/2s have Vigilance, so that's pretty good. And then maybe you cast your aerial boost on one of them and fly over. Maybe you tap one of these extra bodies you got on there to cast aerial boost for less mana. And I'm seeing white-blue knights as being kind of a cool archetype here from the very little I know of this set. Flavor text reads, raised in a long tradition of heroes, every Banalish knight knows the day might come when they will be called to face Phyrexia. So here we have Banalish knights. Wow. That goes way back to where there was a card called Banalish Hero, I think. Simply a 1/1 for 1 white with banding. And banding is a very complicated ability. It doesn't exist anymore. Wizards admitted they wouldn't know exactly how the mechanic even works in some situations. But Knight of the New Coalition is pretty rad. It depicts a knight on a horse, looking very strong. And there's some sort of red bursts in the background. And it looks like there's kind of a glass cathedral of some sort, or some sort of glass sanctuary or something. Knight of the New Coalition. Copper Host Crusher. We get a big green creature. Wow, look at that. Uncommon for 8/8. I would have lost my marbles if I had opened a 8/8 creature when I was a kid playing this game. Costs 8 mana, 2 green and 6 other. And you really don't get much better than this, folks. The creature type is Phyrexian Bear Rhino. Wow, just kind of let that sink in. Let's look at that. You have your bear with your 2 rhino horns. And you've got its little completions. It's got a chest armor with kind of spikes coming out of it, kind of like leaves of a plant. And it's got kind of a green energy coming off of it. And this is pretty sweet. It's trample and it's hexproof. And hexproof means it can't be targeted by your opponent's abilities. So they're going to have a hard time removing this. They're going to need some sort of broad removal or mass removal to deal with this, or make you sacrifice it. So yeah, if you can get this on the board, if your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with it, they're going to be in deep trouble. Stoke the Flames. An instant for 2 red and 2 other. Has Convoke. And your creatures can help cast. So we know what Convoke is. Stoke the Flames deals 4 damage to any target. Flavor text reads, the Atarka Shamans roused the fire into a scorching rebuke of the invaders and a beacon of hope for the survivors. Huh. A scorching rebuke of the invaders and a beacon of hope for the survivors. Wow. That was the 2 roles it played, folks, in the lore of March of the Machines. Really cool artwork. Wispy. I know I've described things as wispy more than once in this pack crack, but we've got kind of your red mana mage stoking these flames. He's almost like calling a fiery dragon from out of the sky. And the flames just kind of flow, both on the ground and in the sky. And what this card does is it deals 4 damage to any target. So Stoke the flames. Order of the Mirror. So we have a flip card here. Order of the Mirror is a 2 mana, a blue and another creature, a human knight, that is a 2/1. It can be transformed with 3 and a Phyrexian white mana. Transform Order of the Mirror, activate only as a sorcery, and a Phyrexian white can be paid with either a regular white mana or 2 life. Flavor text reads, the magic mirror of Vantress showed Katrina a twisted vision of black oil and bloody machines. Wow. So this pack was awesome for knights. We had our Protocol Knight, we have our Order of the Mirror, and we had our Knight of the New Coalition. Is that what it was? Yeah. Knight of the New Coalition. So let's see what this bad boy does when you transform her. Whenever Order of the Alabaster Host becomes blocked by a creature, that creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and it's a 3/3. Wow. So, she has flanking, but they didn't keyword that. Soon she understood that it was not the vision that had been twisted, but her own mind. Wow. Very philosophy of the mind, psychology of the mind. Flavor text on this one reads, soon she understood that it was not the vision that had been twisted, but her own mind. So, yeah, that was my third uncommon, or... yeah. Anyways, Order of the Mirror. Invasion of Pyrulia. It's a 2 mana. Costs a Simic. It's a transform card. And it's a battle. The type of battle is Siege. And as Siege enters, choose an opponent to protect it. You and others can attack it. When it's defeated, exile it, then cast it transformed. Okay, so that answers that question. So we have that other card, Fall of Atraxas. No, Atraxas Fall. We got this. You could just destroy it with this if you wanted to, if you didn't want to deal the damage the old-fashioned way, and you could transform this Invasion of Pyrulia. Let's see what it does on side A. When Invasion of Pyrulia enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land or double-faced card, draw a card. Wow, that's new. Having double-faced cards kind of have an impact. I don't think that would apply to the flip cards from Kamigawa, the original Kamigawa. Those are flip cards, not double-faced cards. Huh. And then you deal 4 damage to it, and it becomes Gargantuan Slabhorn, which is a trample ward 2. Ward was a mechanic introduced in Strixhaven, where unless you pay its ward cost, the spell you cast targeting this creature is countered. Other transformed permanents you control have trample and ward 2. Okay, so really pretty good all on its own. There's just you get your battle out there, and eventually you can get this Gargantuan Slabhorn, which is a beast. It's got a hatchet as a horn. Would you look at that? And the flavor text reads, "To the slabhorn, the branches of the invasion tree were as brittle as the stems of a Pyrulean fern." Wow, so we have a little bit of the lore leaking through here. The invasion tree. I wonder what that is. Interesting. Huh. And this artwork for a Gargantuan Slabhorn is done by Nicholas Gregory. Cool. I like March of the Machine. I think I'd like to maybe draft this or something. Oh. I got 2 rares in this pack. I don't know why that is. Oh, because I got one of those things where I got a card like from another set or whatever. I don't know. Hard to keep up with this game sometimes. Grafted Butcher is my rare. Black and another for a 2/2 creature, Phyrexian Samurai. Wow, they're really pulling from all sorts of things. We got that creature with flanking. We've got knights, blue and white knights, which is different, particularly blue. And then we've got a samurai bringing back the Kamigawa flavor. Here we have a dude. It's like he's kind of licking his blade. He's got... I think he's got more than 2 arms. Or something. But he's pretty completed. Not fully, but he's getting there. And that's what Grafted Butcher looks like. Let's see what he does. When Grafted Butcher enters the battlefield, Phyrexians you control gain menace until end of turn. Wow. Other Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. And for a 3 and a black, 3 colorless and a black, you can sacrifice an artifact or creature. Return Grafted Butcher from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Huh. Wow. So we have a Phyrexian Lord here in Grafted Butcher. Gonna check the value on my rare here. I doubt it's very much. I'm gonna guess like $1.50 or $2. $0.38. All right. And then for my extra card, my bonus card, I've got a very anime-like card here. Horobi Death's Wail. I feel like I've seen that elsewhere. Maybe in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I'm not sure. For 2 black and 2 colorless, we got a 4/4 legendary creature spirit. So you could use this in Commander as your commander if you wanted to. Flying. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. Wow. So just you got your Icy Manipulator and you're tapping stuff, but you're not just tapping it, you're destroying it. Huh. That could be kind of brutal. The flavor text reads, wherever it went, death came to Phyrexians and Kamigawans alike. Huh. And that's a quote from Records of the Living Historians. Cool. And my mountain was my basic land was a forest, and my creature was an elemental. One of the blue-red elementals created by Ral's, Ral's Reinforcements. So yeah, there you go. Cracked pack, and I'll see what Horobi Death's Wail is worth, cost-wise. Oh, so it was originally from Champions of Kamigawa. It's going to take some time to figure out I don't know. I don't know if this printing is worth any more. Uh, anyways, it looks like it's worth about $1.50. So, alrighty. I hope you enjoyed this crack packing, sensational extravaganza. Have yourself a good day. Don't tap out all the time, or you won't have mana to cast combat tricks. Talk to you later.